Hey guys, King Charmaster here. Today I'll be your judge, your jury, and your analyst. And today I bring to you a ABB team that almost went 5-0. It was really interesting because, yeah, I slowly started realizing that the Sinnoh Cup is kind of like, it's really rock, paper, scissory. It's a really weird cup because of the way that the meta kind of revolves around. It's really merciless and, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you define fun. The reason why it's so rock, paper, scissors is because there's not a lot of things that are safe in this cup. Something either breaks something, you lose the lead, and it's usually like something that really hard counters. For example, Empoleon into like a Lucario or something like that. And then you get Bastiodon, which will be, this is Bastiodon, Drapion, and Skuntank. So this is going to be water or ground double poison. More like water double poison. Even though you're going to see how I use this team intricately. It's really weird because this team doesn't, like, for some reason I haven't, well, you know, double poison concept, you know, if you get the Drapion, I mean, if you get the Bastiodon and back, it kind of sucks. But if you get in a lead, which most people are using it in, you can kind of either wipe out the mirror match, or you can, like, wipe out the mirror match, or what I'm hoping for is that a lot of people are using Froslass or Driplim safe switches, so you can use Skuntank and Drapion to kind of trap them in there. Those crunches will put heavy pressure, and you'll see that they do heavy damage. If you lose the lead, you safe switch into Drapion. Drapion's going to be your main safe switch. I won't be using Shadow Drapion or Shadow Skuntank for the shoutcast. I like them. I just like the extra bulk you get, and the problem is you can get mud slap down. You'll see that in this shoutcast, not having that Shadow version actually helps a little bit. So the Shadow version will prompt your opponent to like shield a lot harder on Froslass though, etc., because of the fact that Crunch is gonna like do big damage. So with that being first mental health tip of the day. The mental health tip of the day is, since I'm talking about poison and toxicity, how about toxic positivity? So there's this thing called toxic positivity, which is basically all over social media, which pretty much says that no matter what you go through, you should just be positive about it. Or like, that's not a very positive outlook about it, which is actually really terrible for your mental health. This is why a majority of people telling you Pokemon Go PvP has so much potential and so out there that it's so good that there's nothing you should say bad about it, because it's literally the only thing Pokemon Go has going for it is the fact that Pokemon is in its name. If it wasn't for the fact Pokemon in its name, Pokemon Go PvP would have died a long time ago. Seriously. Not only that, Pokemon Go PvP doesn't have a lot of upside. You can only battle 25 times a day. Go Battle League still exists after 3 years. Like, we're not even like in the top 100 games on Twitch. I mean, we literally get beat up by a gacha waifu game called Genshin Impact. At one point, we got beat up by beans called Fall Guys. And Halo, Valorant, and Apex don't care that we exist. In fact, most of the first-person shooter genre Battle Royale doesn't exist. We have a lot of creators that either left Pokemon Go or that no longer play Pokemon Go because it really is that bad. So if it's bad for you, you probably shouldn't indulge for it. King of Charmander is at the point where it just doesn't need effective anymore. If I do bad in Go Battle League, if I do bad in PvP, I really just don't care because I know I'm good enough to do all the... Well, I battle with complete zen anyway, so before anyone tells you like, oh my god, like, you know, I'm so good at PvP, how's your mental state while you battle? Because you're probably really anxious. I'm not really anxious, but that's just the thing. Toxic positivity is all around the world right now. So, generally, you shouldn't do it. I know this is ironic coming from someone that promotes Pokemon Go PvP content. However, Pokemon Go PvP sucks. If one of my wrestling kids was getting like Valorant and they were like really good, I would tell them play Valorant, because Valorant, you can get signed to an esports team, you can compete, you could go to Pro League, and you can do really well. King of Pokemon Go doesn't have a Pro League. Sylph doesn't count. I'm sorry for all of you Sylph lovers out there. Sylph is not an official sanctioned tournament format. It's actual garbage, and it's not even regulated anyways, because apparently people with rockers or using DFIT aren't even banned from competition because of the fact they can't do anything about it because Niantic doesn't enforce it. So we don't have any of that. So Pokemon Go sucks. Pokemon Go PvP isn't that great, and you should recognize when it sucks or when it sucks for you, and you should probably stop playing it. With that being said, I've said enough about toxic positivity. It's okay to feel bad. It's okay to run away from things. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But if you would like to continue, and I haven't stopped you from playing Pokemon Go or continuing you to quit, here's my shoutcast. I hope you enjoy the battles. Alright, here are the battles. So I almost 5-0 with this team, which is actually pretty ridiculous because, like I said, double poison isn't really too much well thought of, but, well, it's like poison double dark, so either one. As you see, we get Empoleon into Gastrodon. So here's the thing. Empoleon can't actually get to 2 Hydro Cans. It can only get to 1. But you can do this by sacrificing. You can sack Empoleon in the lead. And as you see here, you can just let it go and then send in whatever you have in the back. Unfortunately for our opponent, this is why I like the poison double dark, is because you catch the Froslass or the Drifblim in the back, and then it's a lot of fun. Well, not for your opponent. As you see here, Straight Crunch is monstrous, and even debuffed, you do a ton of damage. So we're just gonna Straight Crunch here, as you would with any. If this goes through a Froslass, it'll leave it near dead. If it goes through a Drifblim, it still does heavy damage, even though Drifblim's really, really tanky. And we're getting Icy Wind to death, but that's perfectly fine. Our opponent makes this really sweet catch into our Crunch. Please give me the debuff, and it does not. But that's perfectly fine because all we're gonna do is Earth Power. And then we have a ton of play here still. We have a whole Skuntank in the back, Gastrodon going Gastrodon, and just backhand slap the unholy crap out of everything in the world. All we're going to do is we're going to send in Skuntank versus this Drifblim, and even if we're debuffed, that's perfectly fine, because Crunch is going to hurt a lot if it hits. We're just going to crunch down, and then hopefully we get the debuff, which you always hope for, because in some scenarios the debuff is great, and we do get the debuff. I'm not going to shield anything here. That's perfectly fine. I'm just going to let Icy Wind go because this won't KO anyways. All we're going to do is Poison Sting down, and our opponent elects to quit out, and that's GG's. As you see, very rock, paper, scissory meta, kinda. For our second opponent, we get Empoleon and a Prinplup, but this time they elect to switch out, and we have a Prinplup. And my brain is kind of just trying to register, like, what the hell, is this a Prinplup? Bro, is that shiny too? So you're trying to flex on me and you're using a Prinplup? And Prinplup has double debuff moves. And I fall for the bad one, as in, it's freaking Icy, it's not Icy Wind, I shield the Bubble Beam, which makes me angry. As you see, we get the debuff with Crunch, but then this is probably going to be an Icy Wind, which, because Prinplup doesn't get stabbed, doesn't do a ton anyways. So we're vibing pretty hard right now. I should be able to get to a second Crunch, but the issue is here, with a little bit of an energy lead, the problem is Empoleon can possibly get to 2 Hydro Cannons, which we don't want to happen against Gastrodon. However, we still have a shield on Gastrodon, so it's not that bad. As you see here, I'm not able to make Crunch, so it really sucks. And then what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to just backhand Mud Slap down this Empoleon. Like I mentioned to you before, with a little bit of an energy lead, Empoleon can actually get to 2 Hydro Cannons. So that was a Drill Peck, not sure why I would Drill Peck. And as you see here, our opponent makes this switch into a Gliscor, which is terrible. Because if you have a Gliscor, then that means our poor Skuntank is going to get Sand Tomb to death, or hopefully they're not carrying Earthquake. I find a lot of Gliscors are running Sand Tomb, which isn't a bad idea, but you know, I like Earthquake just because for nuke ability. Yeah, Sand Tomb is nice and you get that debuff going on, but you might as well nuke anyways, because you're going to see not having Earthquake is actually going to cost my opponent their win condition here. They can't get to 2 Sand Tombs. They let the freaking Crunch through, but the issue is that they can still, like, yeah, if I get the debuff here, this is going to suck for you. And I don't get the debuff, that's perfectly fine. However, this is really sweaty because as you see here, we're going to try to get to a Body Slam, and that's going to be our win condition. But again, for Gliscor, I don't like Sand Tomb. Earthquake is much better in my opinion because you have one-shot potential, and in scenarios like against the Dark Poison type like that, you can still lose. So that's GG's. That's just because Sand Tomb does terrible damage. Yes, you get the debuff, but sometimes you need damage. Damage, you know, it's like Cobra Kai. If you watch Cobra Kai, offense. As you see here, we get a Froslass into Gastrodon, which we lose, so we have to say switch into our Drapion. Drapion's gonna crunch its life away, and like I mentioned to you, remember when you get the one crunch through shield? It does a lot of damage, and then all you have to do is straight Aqua Tail. Normally, your opponent will shield because they're like, okay, I need to keep switch, but just double commit to shield anyways. You want to wipe out the Froslass, or it's really up to you, but you want to keep alignment as much as possible. Now, as you see on this, I accidentally fire Just double shield and farm down. This was a dumb move by me, so I misplaced. You're just gonna see me like angrily undercharge everything. And then now we're in a rough place because now we're down. Now I don't have energy, and like I mentioned, we're in a rough spot. However, we do see a freaking Obama Sinnoh. So, if you didn't vote for Obama in the election, guess what? This Obama chooses violence because, you know, it looks angry. So, Game of Thrones had a horrible ending, by the way. Hopefully you watched it already. If not, I'm sorry I spoiled the ending for you. Well, I didn't really spoil the ending for you, but it's not a great ending. As you see here, my opponent isn't aware that we have double poison, so they're like, oh, well, GG's. And they have a Toxicroak in the back. This is great because we should have the crunch go through, and I have no idea why you are not shielding. Well, it's GG's anyways because Toxicroak loses terribly against Gastrodon in the zeros unless Gastrodon has chip and you're trying to get that a move through. For our next battle, we get a Lucario into our Gastrodon, which is great. This is why I love Gastrodon. Gastrodon wins so many leads, it's ridiculous, outside of things like Cresselia or Froslass, or Driplim, which is basically a hard wall to use, so GG's. As you see, we get Lucario. They elect to just sack their Lucario in the lead, which is perfectly fine. That's not a bad play at all, considering Lucario is just dead weight. And you can farm down Gastrodon and then send something in the back. As you see, we get a Cresselia. We're going to Earth Power here. Hopefully, we do get the debuff. And I'm going to switch into my Drapion. I want this because I want to keep Gastrodon alive, because if they do have something weak to Gastrodon in the back, I can Mud Slap down for the victory. And we generally want Cresselia to die to a crunch here. We don't get the debuff, but that's fine. I'm not going to shield this, though. Or actually, I do shield because I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe that's Moonblast. And we get the Bastiodon. Remember I talked to you about keeping Gastrodon alive? That's exactly why we switched out. Since we wiped out the threat, and now we can send in our Drapion. And Drapion, even though this is a non-shadow version, as you see, these Aqua Tails are chunking pretty hard. 2 Aqua Tails puts this Bastiodon near half HP. So I'm not going to shield anything here. We're going to either kill our opponent with 2 shields, or what I'm basically doing is I'm just going to send in Gastrodon like you see here, and then I'm going to Mud Slap down. I'm going to slap, and then I'm just going to try to get to the, just farm down. But unfortunately, Bastiodon, with as annoying and as OP as it is anyways, it does get to a move. We're going to send in, we're literally just going to, body slam all our shields down. This is freaking hilarious. As you see, we're just going to body slam and take all this Cresselia shields. We might be able to get to another one, and we don't, unfortunately, but that's perfectly fine, because all we're going to do is we're going to Aqua Tail, break the second shield. We got a whole Skun Tank for this second back row, and that's GG's. So as you see here, all we're going to do is just slap down, and our opponent's like, why did you eat? My question is, why did you eat all that damage? As you see here, that did not pay off. That was not a good return for investment. And as you see that, GG's. Yeah, Crunch does a lot of damage, dude. And as you see here, we get Gastrodon into Bastiodon. I wanted to feature this most because, if you know King of Charmanders, I hate that dang thing. And our opponent is running double steel with a Metal Claw Empoleon. Why are you using Metal Claw? I don't understand it at all, because the thing is, Metal Claw is double resisted by the mirror, and waterfall damage is the reason why Empoleon is so freaking good in this cup. We're just gonna Mud Slap down hilariously and relentlessly, and then all I'm gonna do is we have a Driplim. Okay, so here's the funny part. Remember I told you about having that double poison, or that double dark poisons typing just allows you to just crunch away at these ghosts? We want to see a ghost in the back. And we're just going to absolutely crunch the unholy hell out of this poor little Driplim. Actually, this match is pretty hilarious because you're gonna do something very different. Our opponent switches into Bastiodon and the game freezes. I love it when it glitches like that, like it's trying to remember its life choices, because Go Battle League doesn't work 100% of the time anyways. Everyone just hopes it works, but at this point, it's kind of like, it's like an ex-girlfriend with a bad relationship you have. You keep coming back for more because, it's good dopamine, but then at the end of the day, it's just destroying yourself like this Bastiodon. So why would you get in a relationship with a Bastiodon? We're going to let Drapion go, and all I'm going to do is Mud Slap down. I'm going to overcharge a lot. However, this is why King of Charmander is a psychopath. By the way, that Bastiodon isn't fully powered, by the way. I think it's like an XL, but it wouldn't matter anyways because Gastrodon against freaking, yeah. And this is an Astonish Driplim. And my brain is kind of scratching I'm kind of scratching my head right now. I would have won anyways, even if they had the right moveset, but still, I'm going to have a little fun here, and I'm attempting to Earth Power away I want to get the win by absolutely disrespecting my opponent because you forgot to TM everything, and 2, you want to use Bastiodon. So, screw you, screw your freaking Driplim, and I'm going to slap you in the back with the back of my freaking hand. Or as you see, I attempt to switch out, and I try to poison. I try to make it like sack Skuntank, but this poor Driplim isn't gonna live anyways, and that's GG's. Sadly, I almost 5-0'd, and like I mentioned, even if they had the right movesets, I likely would have won anyways, and that's GG's. As you see, here's the 4-1. I wish I 5-0'd. It would have been sweet. I hope you enjoyed the battles. And that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As you see, Gastrodon double poison works out pretty well. I don't recommend, like, this seems a little hard to run, especially for, I'm just taking advantage of the patterns that are going out right now. However, like I mentioned, it's kind of rock, paper, scissory. There aren't many things in this meta that are safe. That or you're going to run smack down into a Bastiodon or a Gastrodon, which just erases your team. So, kind of like, it's like really weird at what everyone's using nowadays. A lot of people are using like, oh, Bastiodon and like Steel and Fighter together, even though Steel types lose to other fighters and most fighters and Steel types lose to Gastrodon, which is why when I promote the top teams coming up soon, it's actually really, yeah, you'll see a lot of like Gastrodon, Bastiodon combinations and just a ton of tap RPS teams going around. There isn't really a safe switch that's super safe in this meta, so yeah, it's a very merciless like meta. And although I've been waiting for it, now I kind of realize like, man, this isn't really as great as I thought it would be. But you know what? Legends Arceus is coming out soon, so you'll see more content on Legends Arceus once it actually releases because King of Charmanders wants to dive into another game. I still haven't opened my Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl copy. In fact, it's still right here in the plastic. Yeah, see, I should probably return it. Yeah, I should probably, like, return it and just get Legends Arceus, because it was Amazoned anyway, so I could just, like, leave, yeah, but it's alright. I'll probably play at one point and just, like, binge through it, but then I'll be doing, like, look forward to, like, dual content. So this one and Legends Arceus, I'll still be regularly promoting Pokemon Go PvP or posting content on that. I'm just gonna dive into something else because I'm not bored of this, it's just, you know, it's been the same thing over and over again, so, you know, yeah. And yeah, and Sinnoh Cup isn't that great as I thought, unfortunately. But if you do me a huge favor, please like and subscribe next to these 2 Charmanders, as you see there. You see that little sub box at the bottom right? If you put your mouse over there, you could easily subscribe from over there. Really appreciate my current subscribers. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets. I hope you guys are enjoying the Sinnoh Cup, and I will see you guys on the next video.